أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 196, Surah An-Naml, ayah number 1 to 26. An-Naml. What does that mean? Ants. You know why the surah is called An-Naml? Why? The story of Sulaiman alayhi salam with the ants is mentioned almost towards the beginning of the surah. So inshallah we'll study that today. Surah An-Naml is a Makki surah, and this surah was revealed after Surah Al-Shu'ara. And remember that the Makki era is full of opposition. The Prophet ﷺ, as well as the believers, they were facing a lot of opposition from the disbelievers. So many of the Makki surahs, they mention stories. Stories of who? The prophets, the people of the past. Why? Because there are many lessons to be learned from their stories. And there is also great inspiration in them. So, in this surah we will also learn many stories, amongst them being obviously the story of Musa alayhi salam again, as well as the story of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And Musa alayhi salam, his story, his incident is mentioned many times in the Quran, because he is one of those prophets who faced great opposition. He faced a great tyrant. He had to deal with Fir'aun, and then he had to deal with the Bani Israel. So there are many lessons that can be learned from the story of Musa alayhi salam. This surah, it has 93 verses. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Tasin. Huruf muqatta'at. Tilka ayatul Qur'an. These are the verses of the Qur'an. Wa kitabim mubin. And a clear book. Meaning these verses, these ayat that you're about to read, that you're about to listen, what are they? They are the ayat of Al-Qur'an. They are not ayat of an ordinary book, an ordinary speech, but rather these are the ayat of Al-Qur'an. And Al-Qur'an, as you know, is from Qaf Ra Hamza. Qara'a literally means to read, and others say that it's from the root letters Qaf Ra Noon. And Qarn, what does it mean? To join together. So the Qur'an, why is it called Qur'an? Because it is, first of all, maqru'. It is to be recited. It is to be read. And it's not to be recited only once, but we're supposed to recite it 5 times a day in our salah minimum. Minimum. So, Qur'an is called Qur'an because it is to be recited a lot. And it is also called Qur'an if you take the root to be Qarn, Qaf, Ra, Noon, because in it, all truths, wisdom, great lessons are all joined together. And the style of the Qur'an is also in perfect order, it's in perfect coherence. All of the themes, they are very well connected together. So, tilka ayatul Qur'an, these are the verses of the Qur'an, and they're also verses of what? Wa kitabim mubin, and a clear book. Now, it doesn't mean that the Qur'an is different and kitabim mubin are different. What does it mean by this wow over here? Wow over here is of description. Meaning, these ayat are of the Qur'an, and these ayat are of the book which is clear. So, kitabim mubin further describes the Qur'an. Why is Qur'an called kitab? What does kitab mean? That which is written, maktub. So if you look at it, Qur'an, it's first of all maqru', meaning that which is read, that which is recited. And secondly, it is also kitab, meaning maktub. So imagine a book that is recited a lot, and that is also written. This is a very unique characteristic. Because many times books that are written, they're not read that often. I'm sure you have many books, you've read them once or twice, maybe they were a good read, but that's it. How many more times will you read it? Not many. But the Qur'an is such that you have to read it every single day. So it's maqru' and it's also maktub. It's also written. Others have said that kitab-i mubin over here, it refers to the Lawh al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet. Because the Qur'an, where is it originally? It is in the Lawh al-Mahfuz. So these ayat are from where? From kitab mubin. What's the objective of saying this right at the beginning of the surah? that the ayat that you're about to read, they're not ordinary statements. They're not ordinary sentences, but rather they're very special. They're from the Quran. They're from Kitab Mubin. And this Quran, what is it? It is hudan. It is a guide. Wa bushra, and also good news. For who? Lil mu'mineen, for the believers. This Quran is hudan. Hudan literally means guidance. And in the context we give it the meaning of a guide. But literally, hudan is masdar. It's not ism fa'il. Ism fa'il is hadi. And hudan is what? Hudan is masdar. And why is the masdar used? For mubalagha. That hudan, it is a guide. It is a great guide. A guidance. A complete guidance. Wa bushra, and a good news for who? Lil mu'mineen, for those who believe in this book. So what do we learn from this? That the only people who can gain benefit from this Quran, who can actually find guidance in the Quran, who receive the good news that is mentioned in the Quran, who are those people? Those who believe. Iman is the first characteristic that is necessary, that is needed in order to benefit from this book of Allah. And if a person lacks this characteristic, then he will not be able to benefit from this book. So the first thing that is needed is Iman, Hudan, wa bushra lil mu'mineen. And if you look at it, Hudan, what is Hidayah? What is guidance? What does it mean? Instruction? Think about it. What is guidance? Instruction as to what to do, how to do, when to do? Hudan, guidance, is that which shows you the way, tells you the way as to what you should do, how you should do. It helps you differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. That is what Huda is. It leads you to your destination. Because remember, Hidayah is not just about telling the way. It's not just about showing the way. But it's about leading throughout the way until the person reaches the destination. So you were at point A. You were shown, this is how we get to point B. And you weren't just shown, you were directed throughout the trip, throughout the journey. And when you got there, then the Hidayah was complete. You understand? This is what Hidayah is. This is what Huda is. So basically, Hidayah is not just about knowing what to do. It's about transformation. It's about getting from point A to point B. It's about changing your way according to what you have learned. So who will change his ways when he learns what is in the Quran? Who will do that? The one who believes. Who will put the Quran in practice? The one who believes. Whose lifestyle will change? Whose outlook on life will change? Whose way of talking, way of thinking, eating, behaving with others, doing his work is going to change? The one who believes. So the more Iman a person has, the more benefit he is going to receive from this book. The stronger the Iman, the greater the transformation. Remember that. The stronger the Iman a person has in the Quran, the greater his actions, his behavior is going to transform. So, Hudan wa bushra lil mu'mineen. In Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 124, we learn, فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَزَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَهُمْ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ. That as for those people who have believed, when they listen to the Quran, what happens to them? It increased them in faith. It increases them in their Iman. And they rejoice. They become happy because they have come to know one more thing. Several new things that they can do in order to come closer to Allah. And such people are in the mercy of Allah. We learn in Surah An-Nisa, ayah 175, that فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَاعْتَصَمُوا بِهِ فَسَيُدْخِلُهُمْ فِي رَحْمَةٍ مِّنْهُ وَفَضْلٍ وَيَهْدِيهِمْ إِلَيْهِ صِرَاطًا مُسْتَقِيمًا. That those people who believe in Allah and hold fast to Him that He will admit them to His mercy from Himself and bounty, and He will guide them on a straight path. He will guide them on a straight path. Who? Those people who believe and hold on to Allah. Who hold fast to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who are the believers? What is the practical demonstration of Iman? How does a person know how much Iman he has, so that he can figure out if he can actually benefit from the Qur'an or not? So, what are those qualities that a person must have, along with Iman, that enable him to benefit from the guidance that is in the Qur'an? They are mentioned in the following ayah. That الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ, those people who establish the salah, meaning who pray salah as it should be prayed. Earlier we learned in Surah An-Naml that الَّذِي يَرَاكَ حِينَ تَقُومُ, the one who sees you while you stand in prayer. So when a person has this feeling that Allah is watching me when I'm praying, He's watching me, He's observing me very, very carefully, then automatically what's going to happen? His salah is going to improve. It's going to become better. It's going to be as it should be. So, الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ, and they also give the zakat. What is zakat? Mandatory charity. Remember that there are two types of charity. One is sadaqah and the other is zakat. Zakat is only mandatory on certain people. Who have a certain amount of wealth for a certain period of time, and they're supposed to give part of their wealth to certain people. But sadaqah, any person can give it. Whether he is wealthy, or he is poor, or he is under debt, or he is very, very hungry, no matter what state a person is in, he can give sadaqah, and he will be rewarded for it. So, وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ, and they give the zakat, وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ, and they in the hereafter, هُمْ يُقِنُونَ, they believe with certainty. If you notice, hum is mentioned twice over here. وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُقِنُونَ. Hum is dhamir, but what kind of dhamir is this? Dhamir fasl, because it has come separately. It is not joined with any other word. And dhamir fasl is for several reasons. Sometimes it gives the meaning of ikhtisas, for specification. And over here, it gives that meaning. That it is only such people who, in the hereafter, they believe with conviction. Because when a person prays salah as he should be praying, and when a person gives zakat, then what does it show? That he believes in the hereafter with conviction. Otherwise, what is the driving force that's going to make a person pray 5 times a day properly? Think about it. Take a break from his work, stop his work, get up and pray. Despite going against his desires, he's getting up to pray in the middle of the night or early in the morning, when it's cold, when he's very tired, he's still getting up to pray. What is the drive? What is the motivation behind that? It's the certainty in the hereafter. So, وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ, it gives the meaning of ikhtisas, that it is only such people. So what do we learn in these ayat? That in order to benefit from the Qur'an, in order to receive guidance from the Qur'an, in order to be able to implement the Qur'an practically, and in order to be deserving of the good news that Allah has given in the Qur'an, what must a person do? What should a person do? Practically. In this ayah, what do we learn? That first of all, a person must pray properly, fulfilling all of the conditions and all of the pillars of salah. And secondly, a person must be careful about giving zakat. If you look at it, salah, what does it represent? What does it represent? The rights of who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And zakat, what does that represent? The rights of people. So in order to be able to implement the Qur'an, in order to be the recipient of the good news that is given in the Qur'an, what does a person need to do? Give the haqq of Allah, give the haqq of people. And also, one more important thing, belief in the hereafter with conviction. And remember that belief in the hereafter includes belief in what? The life of barzakh. Because remember, the hereafter, al-akhirah, begins from death onwards. Akhirah begins from where? Death onwards. So it includes life in the barzakh. It includes resurrection. It includes reward and punishment. It includes hisab. It includes the mizan, the scales. It includes everything that we have been informed about of the hereafter. So وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. And when a person has this conviction that when I die, I'm not just going to terminate. No. There's going to be a life of barzakh. And when I die, eventually I'm going to be resurrected. When I die, I'm going to be held accountable for what I have said, for what I have done. When a person has this conviction, then he remains steadfast on the path of righteousness. Then he is concerned about learning what Allah has said, what Allah has taught. Then he is concerned about fully understanding and implementing the Qur'an. Why? Because he's worried. He's worried about his hereafter. He's concerned about his eternity. He's afraid of the punishment of the grave. He's afraid of being held accountable. This is why he will look at every instruction that is given in the Qur'an with a lot of care. And he will be very, very careful in implementing that. On the other hand, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ. Indeed, those people who do not believe in the hereafter, the exact opposite people are being mentioned now. What is their state? زَيَّنَّا لَهُمْ أَعْمَالَهُمْ. We have made their deeds pleasing to them. A'mal is a plural of amal. So their deeds, we have made them pleasing. We have made them very beautiful for them. زَيَّنَّا from زَيَّنَا. زَيَّنُونَ zina. So their deeds appear to be very beautiful to them. And as a result, فَهُمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. So they wander blindly. Now what does it mean by their deeds are adorned for them? Their deeds are beautified for them. That their deeds, they seem to be very, very attractive, very good to them. They think that what they're doing is very cool. They think that what they're doing is perfect. There's absolutely no fault in it. There's nothing wrong in it. They think that what they're doing is the right thing to do. And if you do anything contrary to that, it's very foolish. So whatever they do, it seems perfect to them. It seems very beautiful to them. They're attracted to those deeds. And they consider them very, very good. فَهُمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. And as a result, they're wandering blindly. They have no idea as to where they're headed to, where they're going. Now, over here we see that on one hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions those people who believe in the hereafter with conviction. That it is such people who benefit from the book. And on the other hand, those people who do not believe in the hereafter, they are mentioned. And what is their state? That they are so consumed by their actions, by whatever they're busy in, that they think that is everything. And as a result, they're not concerned about what Allah has said. They're not concerned about the guidance that Allah has sent. No. فَهُمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. They're wandering blindly. Now, what type of deeds is it that these people do which they find very attractive, which they find very beautiful? أَعْمَالَهُمْ. What a'mal are these? These a'mal can refer to their evil deeds. All those deeds that they commit in disobedience to Allah, contradicting the commandments that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. So it can refer to their evil deeds, that they consider them as good. Like for example, think about it. A person is doing something wrong, but he thinks it's actually very good. Think about it. Like for example, the people of Makkah, they would worship idols and they would think that was the best thing to do. Yes? Innovations, like for example, a person is not really following something of the deen, but he thinks what he's doing is very, very good. Practically, think about it. What people really do. Yes. Like for example, a person is dressed very inappropriately, and he thinks that, or she thinks that, the way she's dressed up is very, very good, and she really admires herself for dressing up that way. What else? In particular, we're talking about evil deeds, right? Acts of disobedience. But remember that their deeds does not only refer to the evil deeds, but also the good deeds that they may be doing, or the normal deeds that they may be doing. Because remember, they're deeds that are sinful, deeds that are rewarded for, and there are deeds that are mubah. Mubah meaning it's okay. You don't get a sin for that. You don't get any good deed for that. So like for example, a person is just completely occupied with their house or with themselves. So all the time they're spending doing what? Maintaining their house, looking after themselves, and they think what they're doing is very good. زَيَّنَّا لَهُمْ. Like for example, a person has bought something on haram, has taken a loan on riba, and he thinks it's a very good deal that he got. What else? Telling other people to do good but not doing good themselves. So, زَيَّنَّا لَهُمْ أَعْمَالَهُمْ. That those people who do not believe in the hereafter, who do not have this conviction in the hereafter, they think that whatever deeds they're doing, whether they're evil or they're good, they think that they're perfect. They think that they're very beautiful. And when a person thinks that what he is doing is perfect, what he is doing is very good, will he even consider improving himself? No. Will he even consider looking into other options, other better options? No. Because he thinks what he's doing is right. He doesn't need to do anything else. زَيَّنَّا لَهُمْ أَعْمَالَهُمْ. So as a result, فَهُمْ يَعْمَهُونَ, they're wandering blindly, aimlessly in life. So what do we see over here? That a person who believes in the hereafter and a person who does not believe in the hereafter, completely two opposite personalities. Completely opposite people. That a person who believes in the hereafter, he lives with a purpose in his life. He lives with a particular aim. And what is that aim? That he is akhirah oriented. His goal is the akhirah. He wants success where? In the hereafter. And because he wants to be successful over there, whatever he does, whatever action he performs, he molds that according to that purpose. He molds that according to how it will benefit him in the hereafter. So any action he does, he analyzes it first in the light of the hereafter. Is it beneficial? Is it harmful? And the actions of this person who believes in the hereafter with conviction, it includes all types of actions. That whether he is doing some worldly chore or he is performing some religious ritual, what is he concerned about? Is it going to benefit me there or is it not going to benefit me there? Is it going to be harmful? Is it going to be beneficial? And this is why this person is concerned about his salah, his zakat, because the driving force is what? The certainty in the hereafter. And on the other hand, a person who does not believe in the hereafter, what is his state? He's lost in this dunya. He is consumed in the luxuries, in the prosperity of this life, and he thinks that there is no better work than what he is doing. Because زَيَّنَّا لَهُمْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ. He thinks what he's doing is the best. What he's doing is perfect. And there's no other thing that can be done better than what he is doing. Like we learned yesterday about the poets that أَنَّهُمْ فِي كُلِّ وَادٍ يَهِيمُونَ. They're going about, roaming around in every valley, aimlessly. And the people who follow them, al-ghawun, who have nothing better to do in life. These are the people who follow the poets. These are the people who listen to such things. People who have no purpose in life. And they think that what they're doing is the best. They think that their actions are the most perfect ones. Which is why praying in their eyes is what? A waste of time. Which is why giving zakat is what? A waste of money. Giving charity is what? A waste of money. Not taking haram loans is what? Wasting a great opportunity. You understand? That when a person does not believe in the hereafter, he thinks whatever he is doing in this dunya is the best. There's nothing better than what he is doing. So he becomes very proud about his actions, and he looks down on those people who are not aiming for dunya as well. So it's quite possible that you're talking to someone and you're telling them about what you're doing, and they say, you're wasting your time. You're not making any money. It's not going to help you make any more money. Instead, you're spending money. You're spending so much time. Your youth, the prime of your life, you could spend this time doing something else, making more money. So they look down on those people who are preparing for the hereafter. فَهُمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. They're wandering blindly, aimlessly. Because for them, this dunya is everything. But for the one who believes in the hereafter is everything for him. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ. It is those people who لَهُمْ سُوءُ الْعَذَابِ. Those are the ones for whom there will be worst of punishment. Who? Those who do not believe in the hereafter and who think that what they're doing is best. For them is what? سُوءُ الْعَذَابِ. Evil punishment, the worst of punishment. Where? In this dunya and also in the hereafter. وَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. And they in the hereafter, هُمُ الْأَخْسَرُونَ. They are the greatest losers. In the hereafter, they will be the greatest losers. Notice it's not khasir. What is it? أخسر. Because أخسر, أفعل التفضيل. The one who suffers the most loss. The one who suffers the greatest loss. No one else will suffer more than them. Why? Because they will have lost all of their deeds. Whatever they did in the dunya is not going to benefit them at all. And all that they have in their record is what? Deeds that are against them. Hujjah against them. We learn in Surah Al-Kahf, ayah 103 to 104, that قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Shall we tell you about those people who are worst when it comes to actions? الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Those people whose effort has been lost where? In this dunya. وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. And they think that what they're doing is very good. When they die, their deeds die. And in the dunya, they're so occupied with their deeds that they think what they're doing is the very best. So for example, if a person's goal is just dunya, what is he concerned about? Studying so that he can make more money. Working so that he can make more money. And when he's making the money, enjoying that money. This is all that he's concerned about. Now, all his life, the effort that he's been putting in, what good is it going to bring to him when he dies? What good is it going to bring to him? Nothing. This is why al-akhsarun, greatest losers. Look at all the effort they put in and look at what they're going to reap in the hereafter. Nothing. This is why they're al-akhsarun, greatest losers. So what do these ayat teach us? That for a person to be truly successful, he needs to aim for what? Success in the hereafter. Because no matter how successful a person may be in worldly terms, if in the hereafter he's a loser, then what is he? Al-akhsar, greatest loser. And if a person is not really that successful in dunya, but he is successful in the hereafter, then who is he? Successful. فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ. Such a person is truly successful. So we all need to analyze ourselves over here. Every person has certain goals in his or her life. I want to achieve this. I want to become this. I want to study this. I want to work over here. Why? What's the objective? What's the purpose? And what's the result? What's the outcome? Is it just something that's going to temporarily benefit me in this dunya? Or is it something that's going to aid me become successful in the hereafter? Think about it. Because as young people sometimes, we just do whatever everybody else is doing. We'll go to college because everybody else is going. Want to work because everybody else is doing that. And we don't realize why we are doing what we are doing. So every action we have to be very careful about. Is it going to help me be successful in the hereafter? Or is it just something that's going to bring me benefit in the dunya? We need to be very, very careful.